Mise seems to take a bigger part of your development workflow. So what is it, and why did you?
Yeah, so I think the tagline just really encapsulates it, right? It's the front end to your development environment, right? And my goal with Mise is for it to be one polyglot interface that no matter what your product's written in, no matter how many languages ecosystems it has, you just have one common way to set it up, to manage it, to run it, and to maintain it. So running your DevOps commands and stuff would be at least started through Mise is the idea. And there's really three sort of pillars of Mise that make it what it is. First one is tools. And Mise started out as a separate project actually called RTX. That was a direct just Rust clone of a tool called ASDF. And I guess we maybe put a pin on that. But the other two pillars are environment variable management, similar to .env or direnv, if you guys are familiar with those tools. But basically just a way that when you enter a directory, you have some environment variables set up. So whether that's node-env or your AWS creds or things like that, whatever environment variables you need, they'll just be there when you enter the project. And the last one is tasks. A lot of people will use Make to have a bunch of phony tasks so that there's basically just a common, easy way that developers entering a project can run different things they need to do, whether that's install dependencies, build a project, or sometimes deploy it, cut releases or things like that, run the tests, obviously. And Mise brings all that together as one tool so that imagine if you have Mise set up and a project uses it, the idea is all you need to do is go into that project, run Mise test, and that's going to run the test script. It'll install your dependencies, set up all your environment variables, and you don't even need to care or know what language it's written in. Yeah, it basically just brings all this together.
Yeah, there's a lot there. This tool's doing a lot, and it's from the outside, it's maybe a little bit hard to grapple with the actual value. But so let's just start. We put a pin in ASDF and talk about that a little bit. So this is my sort of introduction to Mise. Is I was a user of ASDF, but I never really liked it. So ASDF, just a tool to manage versions of things. So I would use it to manage the version of Node, the version of Python, these kinds of things. And ASDF team is great. They've done a lot of good work. There's a lot of great plugins that the ecosystem has built. But for me, I always bounced off like the commands. You're talking about the verb. It was like always, I could never remember the right commands. Like, how do I install the like right version of Node? Did I install it like in this directory? Is it global? And it was always like a little bit clunky. But there's a lot of projects that'll use 3 or 4 different tools for managing different versions of things. So you got RustUp for managing Rust versions, or you got NVM or N or any number of things to manage Node versions and et cetera, et cetera. And I think that this is both like hits that sweet spot of actually the commands are like very sane and it like does what you think, and like hits just like the rest of like what you need well from there. So tell us a little bit about the story of building a replacement for ASDF. Like, what was your motivation there? And then what did that journey look like getting to Mise to like where it is today?
Yeah, I think developers automatically see the value of ASDF when they first hear about it. Like, I think developers are pretty comfortable with tools like NVM and pyenv and things like that. But it's annoying to switch between them, right? Because they have slightly different characteristics, slightly different UX, right? Different file name structure for how they define versions of things. It's great to just have one file that you can just set things up. And I think that the ASDF was pretty much like the only tool that did this. It was like the only real popular sort of polyglot tool manager. But I took a closer look at it a couple of years ago, and I realized that it was terribly slow. Like it was on my work computer that had a bunch of security software running. It was making my shell take 2 seconds to load. And I immediately was like, I bet if I rewrote this in another language, I could make it faster because it's written in Bash. So every line of code in there is making a new separate process. So of course it's slow, right? If you just had a single process really written in anything, probably could be written in like Python or Node and be a lot faster. Anyhow, so I set out to it's really an experiment. I wasn't really intending to ship it. I just was playing around with it and trying to learn Rust and built a very basic Rust version of ASDF. And I posted it on the ASDF board. I was like, hey, I have this little thing I'm experimenting with. And people started using it immediately. Immediately, I had users. And there was definitely a need for just the same thing, but faster. And so that was very exciting for me. And then so I literally read every single ticket on their board. And people had a lot of really good ideas for how the DX could be improved. And so I literally just implemented their idea. And the sort of end result is that Mise ends up being very easy to use. But like I can only take so much credit for that because I really just implemented the ideas that people have had over the 10 years ASDF's been around and put that into a similar tool.
That's a fun way to prop up a new tool, is just by going through all of the bad feedback about the other tool. I noticed that, so with Mise, you like install like different types of Node and Python and all that, but in some of the plugins, it still references ASDF. What are the situations where I'd want to use like the Mise version versus the ASDF versions that are kicking around?
Ooh, I think I might need to just like step back and explain how Mise works. So it started out really like the tools was just use ASDF. For different reasons, the way that tools define ASDF is not great. And so about a year ago, I built this set of features in Mise called multiple backends. And what Mise ended up turning into is that ASDF was one way you could install tools with Mise, but not the only one. And so you can also install tools with NPM, with pipx, with cargo, and then a couple more generic tool managers called UBI and Aqua. And each of these has their pros and cons, but ultimately for security reasons, for performance reasons, for stability reasons, there's often better ways to install tools with one backend versus the other. And so generally for a user, they don't need to know this. Mise has a registry, and it's a curated list of all the hundreds of tools Mise has, and I selected what I think is the best for each one. And it's different for each one, right? If I were to try to summarize it, I'd say that ASDF is the most capable as a backend, right? So the way ASDF plugins work is it's bash code, right? And so that code could go out and it could compile the tool. It can fetch it from GitHub releases. It could run go install. It can really do anything. But yeah, so as a user, I don't know, it's complicated.
No, it makes sense. You have bash, and bash, you can do anything. So you end up having to trust like random people on the internet to do things on your computer, which is never a good idea, really.
No, and that's probably the biggest problem with ASDF. And I knew that going into this, that the way ASDF's model works is you have every tool you use has its own repository that is almost always just some random developer built this code that goes and fetches a tool, right? And that's very risky, right? Because if you've got 20 different plugins, you might be relying on all those 20 developers to not get hacked and ultimately have malicious code enter their plugin. And so I've just recently, I put up a big post where this has effectively become a solved problem in Mise now. But basically, when you use Mise with a default set, you're either getting stuff directly from the vendor without a plugin, or in the few cases that I have to use a plugin, the plugin comes from a repository that I own, right? You're still going to have to trust me, sorry. But at least it's just one developer and not one for every tool you're using.